Yo, 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 welcome back to You Got Balls, episode 65. I done lost my voice, so you guys gonna have to bear with me. But we got my co-host here, Darren Sloan Morse. We're gonna push through. This is gonna be an epic interview. We got your boy Charlie behind the scenes in the green room holding on for a second. You know, he was last year's Lamest, so we're gonna bring that, ask some ton of questions and shed some light on that belt he holding on for us over there. You know, we got to chop in there. But no, all jokes aside, we have an awesome competition this year. The competitors are amazing. Loving everything that everyone is doing. If you can, you know, continue to pray for the fat man, Chris himself. You know, he's finally going home. So send him some prayers, get in his inbox, annoy him. And just let them know that you're thinking about them, guys. But again, this isn't going to be super duper formal. We're going to bring them out. We're going to have an awesome conversation. Drop your comments in the comment box. We'll make sure we ask any questions that pop up really quick. We'll go through the comments. Who's in here already? Frank, what's good? What's good? KND, what's going on? Love having you guys here. Appreciate all you chiming in on Instagram, sharing our videos. Vote Flawless, 15 minutes lane. Appreciate everything you guys are doing. What's going on? Infinite, the homie. I already know where your vote is at. I appreciate you as well. Yeah, Josh, the homie, man. Josh, all those guys.
He's flying there somewhere too, because they're in the group
I'm sure. That's a first. Michael, what's going on? Appreciate you stopping by. The homie, every single morning he dropped me a text message. I appreciate your prayers and checking and making sure we're doing well. The homie Fred at MTZ, he's doing big things and got some big things growing out over there. So appreciate you. And like Frank said, 15 minutes of lame conversation today. So without further ado, let's bring the homie Charlie out. What's good? Man, he bearing the belt.
And he brings the belt.
I had to bring it. Might be my last podcast I get to come on with it. So
look at it.
Like last couple of weeks.
Anybody me and the belt together? It might be. I don't know. Chris wants me to send it to him this week, but I don't think I'm sending it though. I can't. I'm
gonna hold on to it.
What does it have on it?
What's that?
What's on the side? Does it say the previous winners and everything?
Yeah, look, immortalized on there. There we go.
Wow, hold on.
2024.
So you got small town exotics, right? You got high desert pythons, Leviathan snakes. You got the fat kid from New York. No, I'm just kidding.
Large March.
My buddy's Paul. Large March. And then you got me right here, Reagan Renee Royal Pythons.
So you got the empty slot there. We got to fill that empty slot
waiting. There's a slot waiting. But like I said, I don't know. I think some people this year they're not gonna like me. Some people need to work harder this year. I think there's some people in it this year that wouldn't beat probably the three people that were behind me. Maybe five, maybe the top five from last year. There's some people.
What were the top five last year?
Oh man, you had I think Darren was up there, right?
Yeah,
certainly the Herp and Harbins, right? I mean, that was they had me sweating to the last second.
Yeah, Herp and Harbins was up there.
Hey, they did so good. They made them a judge this year instead.
Oh yeah.
So
and I'm impressed with that too, because they asked them. They sent everybody individual kind of not really critiques, but things they would like to see. You know, there. So that was really cool. Definitely.
And then we had Jay was up there in the votes, right, from Green Line. Gecko Diva certainly campaigned really hard.
Gecko Diva did too. Yeah.
Man, I feel like there's got to be somebody I'm forgetting, and I'm sorry, whoever it is. There's somebody I'm forgetting.
There was quite a bit because I'm right there with you.
We had a lot of people who were like heavy in it last year. I mean, even some people that hadn't really known or heard of before we got in, like 319 guy Chris over there.
Yeah.
Like even then, they came out swinging, like campaigning like crazy. That's what I mean.
Big time.
I seen him. He was on quite a few YouTubes also. You know, Herb and Harbins were campaigning through YouTube channels.
We were We had people going to do meetups and stuff at shows. Like it was a lot. It was a lot going on.
A lot of collabing. Yeah. So we got royalty in the building. Go ahead and tell us just a little bit of your experience from last year. Your transition, what made you think of the website, you know, going that route? Like what influenced some of these decisions you're making now?
Oh man. So a couple things. So I don't know. I mean, the contest definitely helped me kind of actually, I was talking with one of the guys that's in it this year. I think it's Aaron from Batter Up, right? We were talking. He was like, "Man, this really is like a grind." And I was like, "No, it's no. If you really do it. Like you're really like, I'm gonna film an actual video of content a day." Right. Like it's a grind. I was like, it's actually grueling. Like it was actually kind of painful. So but what it did was it brought the baseline for me on content and effort up, right? So even though I fell back to like doing less posts than then, I'm still probably posting more than I was before because I got like more. I had a little bit of a hangover for a little bit after I didn't do anything for a couple of maybe 2-3 weeks after the contest. I was like, I'm done. Like,
yeah.
But it felt like a new normal, like working at that pace. I realized how much time I could squeeze in between, cleaning the snakes, doing a day job, getting Reagan back and forth to whatever I'm, helping out with school or whatever. And then still find time for content and stuff. So, it helped in that regard, which kind of helped shape me feeling like I had time this year to do stuff. Like the website is something I had been talking about for like 3 years. I wanted to just make my own site. I love, don't take this for Vince. I know people have love-hate relationship with Morph Market. I have no complaints personally about Morph Market. Actually, they've taken really great care of me. Still to this day, better than 60-70% of my business is through Morph Market, done through Morph Market. Yeah. Like there's a lot of new features they're adding all the time. I'm very happy with, but I wanted another avenue, a different way you could work on. You could do the what they call like the SEO, the search engine optimization stuff, so people could find you on Google. You know what I mean? Just one more place that I could be located, and one more chance for people to see the animals. It's also allowed me to do more. Like I now have the whole scale thing. If you've seen that I'm doing, where I developed a calculator that helps people understand like their pairings and stuff like that. I'm gonna my intent right now is to do more content on that, like do like some demo videos where I just show the way I look at pairings and what that tool is all about. But I mean, that became a big part of what I was doing this year, is trying to figure out how to kind of give a little bit back to people that I feel like might be missing the mark. I feel like I've had a moderate level of success. My company's profitable. I'm very happy with how it's going. In under 5 years, I almost paid the investment back, and it's making more than I spend each month. So I feel like I want to share that because I've seen a lot of people, even people I liked, get out. So there's going
to see more racks come up lately. But also, what I want you to do is kind of break down that calculator.
Yeah. All right. So to tell you like the general thing of it, first is I started as there's a couple of genetics calculators out there. At least the one everybody knows is the one on Morph Market, right? But I had developed something where I could then copy and paste that into an Excel sheet, and I could see, well, what are the odds after now that we have the ability to shed test? So when you have a 50% het, now I have all the same combos, but a second set of them with the het, right? So you have some that are non-het and some that are. 66 is a little more complicated, right? So you have basically two versions, two chances that you get the version with the het, and then one chance of not, right? And so I was taking those odds, it might be a 50-50 clutch or whatever, and then making it essentially 66 and 33 that with the het and without the het. So I could see, like, I was estimating what's the value of this clutch. I was trying to decide going in, like, I need something concrete, like on paper in front of me that I can visualize to tell me, like, does this make sense? Like, sometimes the clutches feel very good to us because you see one animal that you could get that's very exciting, right? And some of it's really really obvious to us. You'll see, oh, that's a 1 in 256. I'm probably not going to hit it. But sometimes it's like a 1 in 8. You're like, I probably could hit that. Like, you know what I mean? But the fear is, I fall into a trap, and I learned this myself the hard way, where I wind up with 5-6 other things that I don't want, and if I don't want them, probably somebody else doesn't want them either. Like, and so then you might even get the one animal you want, but you have a lot of other mouths to feed that are not worth much. The time that you're, not anything against. Let's face it, right? Not anything against the value of them as a living creature, and it might make a great pet for somebody. But they don't hold a lot of dollar value, and it doesn't help your business continue. Right. If you're trying to approach this as a business, not just a hobby. Although I think even hobbyists should try to be profitable, but that's a different story. I'll come back to that. But so the calculator itself, let me go back to it. So I started with the ability to just see like what's shed tested and what's not. I wanted to be able to see if the clutch makes sense, like financially, will my business sustain, or am I going to keep taking on water and taking on animals that are hard to move, and you wind up actually losing money in the long run? Especially with shed testing, quickly became number 2 expense for me behind feeding snakes. Yep. Right. And actually, there were times where I got the cost of, because I was doing my own rodents for a little bit until, again, recently I changed direction on that. But I got the cost of my rodents down so low for getting so efficient at it that I was actually probably spending more some months on shed testing than I was on snakes.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was the next on feeding the snakes. So that's what was the next kind of piece of, like, you know, there's a hidden cost there in a clutch. You might have a good chance of hitting an animal you really need for a project, but you might have a bunch of other stuff that you either got to sell for $40, $50 as a normal price, right? Because I mean, that's what like a normal male goes for right now, right? Maybe $50 if you go look on Morph Market, right? Yeah. So unless you have an outlet, like you have somewhere that you're doing stuff like with a lot of like a lot of pet owners, or you like maybe at some of the shows you've been, there's a lot of pet people and stuff like that. But I'm exclusively online, so I've got a $40 normal. I'm waiting on Morph Market for that $40 to even move, where I'm auctioning it for 10. I might lose on shipping. So anyway, back to the calculator. I wanted a way to see, again, the odds of everything with testing and how much the testing is going to cost. So that's the next feature I added. So I added the ability to test. Then I added the ability to see how much testing will cost you. Then I wanted to do something I had also been doing myself in Excel for a long time, which was now I take all those combos and I go to Morph Market like I'm pricing them like you would when you go to list. Everybody has their method they go through when you go to list your snakes on how you price it. You go look at most people go look at the average and then go a little lower, right? Yeah. I could talk about why I think that's a bad strategy, but it's normal. I've done it.
Or they feel like I could be up there with the big dogs.
Or you try to put it up, But if you're putting it up there, you got to do something else. Give something else, which is what I'm going to start doing here. That's the direction I'm going. So
okay.
So I made it to where you can plug the value, your male and your female, because you got a 50% chance of hitting either one for each combo, right? And then this is crazy. All right. So anyway, I don't even know what that was.
They talking about the knuckle sandwich for 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
The little reels that he had.
I'm gonna have to check that one. I missed that one. So I've seen a couple. I've seen no pants and all kinds of stuff going on. Nobody's done no pants like Darren, though. Let's just be honest. Can we just go just for a minute? Like, this is what I'm saying about our year and why I might not mail anybody this belt. Like, we have people, I mean, not full frontal, but we have full backside nudity on the internet, like on Instagram. Darren showed the whole world his ass to try to get the belt.
I was like, I'm a win.
I just want to say, like, people need to show up. Like, not that I want to see more ass out there.
Not even that reel with your daughter was like, man, that was classic. That was real classic. And just going back and forth, that was classic.
That's what I love the most. Jumped in. Yeah, the back and forth. And I started getting excited lately because I saw you guys start to do the banter back and forth this year now. I started to see it. That's what got me excited, because that's where all the benefit is. I know I came off the calculator back to, but that's where the benefit is. That learning how to collab and you share viewers and stuff like that. There's and just building that network out. I mean, that's where the biggest benefit was. That's what you heard when you listened to the recap at the end of the that season, I guess I'll call it. When you heard people say, like, well, what do you say to the people who didn't compete? Like, you missed an opportunity. That's what everybody talked about. And because that's what I walked away with for sure.
Right. Those memorable moments. Yeah.
All right. So calculator. So you can do the testing. You can do the value of the clutch. You can do what it costs you to test. And now it will subtract the cost of the test from the value of the clutch. Then I want to take it to what I started adding now to take it a little bit further. So it'll take all the probabilities of each type of baby, possibilities of male or female. It gives an average per egg and multiplies it by you put how many eggs that you expect to get. You use 6 as your average if the girl never laid before and you don't know. But if you have history, you know she's a 10-egg layer, you can plug 10 in and see like what you should get back on that clutch. So what I just added now is it actually has ROI, return on investment. So you can actually plug the value of the male and the female in at the top underneath of where you enter their genes. And down the bottom, it'll actually tell you, like, if the male's like $1,000 and you could get $500 for the female, if you put her on Morph Market right now or whatever, that's $1,500, right? Well, if the clutch is less than $1,500, like, what are you doing, right? Unless that male, if the male, you can put that the male is paired to 6 females, it'll divide him by 6, right? So you don't put his full value on one pairing, right? So it has a little ROI thing down the bottom. Now it'll tell you right there, like, you know, how much I'm making. So what it helps with a couple of things, because if you say, oh, there's a female out there, maybe I should grab her and, you know, and pair her. You could say, well, that female will cost, the male's paid for, he's already going to like 6 other girls, so it's fractional. But I'm adding this female, she cost me $2,000. The clutch is only going to make me like $1,900. What am I doing? Like, it seemed cool, seemed like a cool idea at the time, but it's not. And I'm going to have to pay $200 in shed testing. So I'm out $300 less a year from now. Like, you know what I mean? And that's if you sold everything, not even when you hold the one best animal you were hoping for. When you hold that back, you're even worse off. So now I added a ROI thing at the bottom. The other thing I'll say about that, though, is that's even can be a little misleading.
Oh, yeah.
That's an average of all the outcomes, right? So if you have a $20,000 snake that could happen in your quad het pairing, it might make it look like there's a chance that this is worth. So a $20,000 snake, and then the other snake in the clutch is worth $100, right? Well, it looks like I can make 10 grand on this. Well, you're probably getting one or the other, though. Right. So I actually and I haven't even uploaded this part yet, but I have the ability now where it actually makes a graph of all the outcomes and the probability of all the outcomes.
Yeah.
And it puts a red line where the money that you spent on the parents is. So it shows you how many possibilities are over what you spent. So it gives you basically the odds that you land in the green on the clutch too. So now you not only can see the value, but you can see like what's the likelihood I wind up on that side.
On the other side, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a link for that?
I do. So the simplest way I can say is go to reaganrenee.com/scale, right? Scale like a snake scale. Put it in the chat. Yep. reaganrenee.com/scale. And you can just play with the calculator there. If you don't understand something, there's a little text us button right at the bottom. Just text me. I'll tell you, like, you know, hey, add this or add that. You know what I mean? I'll tell you how to do it. So, but there's also a button at the bottom where you can say log pairing. It doesn't stay forever because you don't have like a save thing with a log on. That's coming later. But it'll stay for the time that you're in that window unless you close and refresh. What that'll allow you to do is you could put a female on the female side and you can change the males. So you can do the male, see what the value of the clutch would be, hit log pairing. It'll put all the stats down the bottom. And then you can put a different male in, see the new value, and hit log again. And you can see them next to each other. Which clutch is worth more? Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I need to slow down. Because I know I'm like going real heavy.
Nah, you good.
Yeah.
Go into a little bit of an explanation. We were talking briefly behind the scenes on the DG Clown paint and kind of how you structured it, because I thought that was very informative.
Yeah, so this is one where this is a little counter to how I would normally do most pairings based on like the way the calculator lines out and you know, just what I believe in the number of misses and things like that. But it's a unique opportunity because there's not a lot of things available in the market for that project yet, right? So it's a chance where almost anything in there has probably a decent value. And you probably have a 6 month to a year window to do something like this before there's a bunch more on the market and it's no longer, you know, the opportunity is gone. And I've made a habit kind of looking for opportunities like this. So I kind of hoarded and stashed as every dime I was making the first couple of years. I stashed some Desert Ghost Clown females in the rack, Desert Ghost Cryptic females. Stashed them away. So now this year I've got like 6 or 7 of them up ready to go. So I grabbed 2 actually. So I had a backup triple het DG paint clown males. I have a really good feeling the test is coming soon for paint, right? Actually, they're doing a lot of kind of testing work now to try it and getting pretty good results. So I'm taking those triple hets to the DG clown females, right? Because it's decent enough odds when I do 3 or 4 of those pairings that I get a DG clown male that's het paint back. Right. You know what I mean? And so I'm kind of playing like I'm casting a wide net to make sure. But all of a sudden you have a DG clown male this year. By next year, I have visual paint females, right? That I can throw a DG clown het paint male to, and I can get paint double hets, right? And start to jump. And I'll stash on the side too. Any triple het female that comes out in the testing process. And I know they're guaranteed double het, DG, and clown, right? So I got 1 out of every 2 should get the paint, right? So every female I'm going to be testing for paint, right? And I'll be sliding off enough till I have enough triple het females of my own. And then I've already got now a DG clown het paint paint male made hopefully this year, right? It was a little luck. The odds still have to come to fruition for me, right? Still has to pan out, but with a little luck, right? So already there, you're a step ahead. So I'm just trying to kind of skip a step in that project because I don't have triple hets laying around right now, but
I don't think a lot of people have triple hets except for me.
No,
he bought a double visual, the clown.
But even producing those will still be very, very relevant in that project for the next 3 years, honestly.
I think so because as far as females go, there's none now. Maybe next year a bunch of females hit the market. I might be right in the thick of it. If I get lucky and I get more than 4, 5, 6, right, I'll probably start sliding my own into the market here and there. And that triple het female in that market, I think even a year from now, is probably going to be worth quite a bit. So then I have some good revenue too for anything extra that I make there, right? And then, like I said, you're already sitting on a pretty advanced male in that project. The DG clown het paint to a triple het that's a nice pairing in that project, right? Especially for right now. And I can try, the next year to go back if maybe there's, in a year or two's time, if I haven't, because I probably still won't, let's face it, have even gotten to a triple visual yet. But if paint clowns are more available or something like that, and I'm already sitting on a DG clown het paint, I'm making even better animals, you know what I mean, in my project already. So, like I said, I've looked a lot for like little opportunities like that to try to jump kind of
ahead of certain projects
and stuff. Yeah.
But there's also a numbers game that we like to kind of put out there. We talk about it as well. Like how we have that powerful male to do certain things. You got to have those females as well. So you having 3 or 4 triple het females, is a bonus because you can't really do what you're planning on doing if you even just have 1 triple het female, because now you got all your eggs, for lack of a better expression, in one basket. She may go, she may not. So you have to figure out a way, like you said, to increase those odds. And when you feel comfortable, like that you have enough, triple het females or incomplete dominant in the mix in there too, then you can let them go to the public so other people can take them as well.
Yeah, and like I said, this is it's a small window, I think, to do this because here pretty soon, like a triple het male right now is even worth a little something because somebody can try to do something like I'm talking about. But here in about a year's time, even a triple het male is not going to be worth much.
Only thing I want to throw out there, and again, I got less time in the game than you. I feel like people in general allow you, me to influence their decisions too much sometimes.
Fair enough.
Like I feel legitimately some of those triple het, quad het males that'll be out on the market. You'll look at your collection and you're like, I'm going this route. That male is legitimately $50. You probably got it.
Well, So, and that's a part of why, like I said, I did this calculator too, because there's stuff out there that, again, conventionally might not be a great pairing, know, based on what people would say about you on the internet. Yeah. But I look at it and you're like, the return is crazy on this. Yeah. It might only be $200, but when you look at it, the probability that I make a profit on it is like 95%. I could make from 5,000 up to 20,000. Like it's not. I was looking at a pairing this morning. I'm trying to think now which one it was. I was like, I was thinking about selling this girl, and I still might. But so I have a stranger clown. He's also like red stripe and yellow belly, but stranger, red stripe, yellow belly clown. Het monsoon. That's the male that I have. So I have a pastel hypo het DG het clown female sitting in the rack that I was thinking about selling. I'm like, pastel hypo het clown, that's not a great female anymore. I really should have, for where I'm at, it is a good female for somebody, don't take it wrong, but I really should probably have a hypo clown female visual that I should be using. Right. And that might be why I might still sell her and do it. But when I put that pairing in and calculated it, everything is double het hypo clown, 50% chance of hitting stranger, 50% chance of being a triple het hypo monsoon clown. There's none out there, right? And then there's decent chance, 1 and 2, 1 and 4 to get the monsoon with it of making clown double het monsoon hypos,
right?
Males and females, right? Both are worth quite a bit right now because it's not there. So I was like, when I looked, I mean, it's actually like the return on that pairing was crazy, like $10,000 to $20,000.
So that's hard though, right? And that's why I was typing while you was talking. I do the same exact thing, and I would be on the fence the same way you would be. But then you go and you search like morph market or what's available, and you're like, lesser hypo clown, 2,000 gram proven breeder female for $750. It's like, I'm not messing with this. I'm going to grab that.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's so hard because then that ups. I mean,
the odds are even better because now I know that they're all. Yeah, I know it's all clown.
And save money on the testing, and
I will advocate for that too. Yep, 100%. So then I know they're all clown, 100% head hypo right out of the gate, and then it's 50% chance that I get the monsoon too, and so that's probably ultimately the way I'm going to go. Right. But again, not everybody might have that cash sitting there at their disposal, or I might see another opportunity because I'm also looking at an exanthic clown female, so I might only get one, and I might stick with that girl for that project. You know what I mean? To say the return's good enough. So I can balance though across like I can look at the two, right? I can look at using the exanthic clown female for the pairing or a hypo clown female for the pairing, say which one makes more money. If it's the exanthic clown, then I keep this girl and I do both of those because he's only got 2 females he's going to right now anyway. So I'll put him in both of them.
And not to ostracize anybody in the comment area, he's talking strategically from the business perspective on creating some holdback animals to move his collection forward, as well as possibly having some higher end animals available for sale. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way. Doing it the triple head or quad head way. There's nothing wrong with doing it on the hobby side. If that's legitimately just a hobby and you see a steal of a deal, you already have a career and you just kind of doing your own little thing, there's nothing wrong. You can do this 1,000 different ways. So it's really, really smart to do it that way.
I'll say though, I think hobbyists should also watch their numbers, should also try to be profitable.
The hard part with the hobbyists, right, is a lot of the hobbyists, and it's not a bad thing.
Yep.
They've already understood. It's like, and again, I don't think of it that way because I'm trying to do the business side of it. Yep. But hobbyists, they tend to look at it like golf or, any other, recreational thing that you may do where, hey, it costs you $2,000 a year for your golf club membership. And it just kind of is what it is. So I get it. It doesn't, we all don't have to agree, but I understand their perspective on it. So
I totally understand that. And I think, I used to actually turn that into a career too, because it's just the way I am. But I used to make beer at home, right? I used to home brew, and I dumped all kinds of money into that when I started doing that. And then eventually I went to do it professionally, but it's just because I don't know how to not work. But let me try to sell people on why, even as a hobbyist, it's to your benefit to try to be profitable. I understand if you want to dump, it's not me to tell anybody really at the end of the day what they can do with their money. So you can do it however you want. If you're comfortable and you've got disposable income and you can do that. But if you're profitable, right, you never have to ask her if you could buy the next snake.
wait, we gotta hold up. So who's her?
Oh, you know what I'm talking about, or him for some people. Because I'll tell you what, I actually have a ton of female customers. Actually, and to be fair though, I don't say that the same way anyway though, because they always just seem to know. I've never had one of the female customers. Actually, one time I had her be like, "Oh, I gotta convince my boyfriend," and she'll know who she is too if she ever sees this. But most of the female customers just come in and just buy it. They don't mess with me at all. Like they are like,
that's a blessing.
It's
I can speak from that perspective because even with the ball python and pointing us in that direction, like even with the crested geckos, like it's literally the same 100% both sides with Audrey and myself. She likes sunset. I don't really have a thing for sunset, but we're working sunset. So the dynamics of the relationship isn't the norm, I guess, because we're like kind of, hey, if I like something, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. If she likes something, she's gonna go ahead and get it. And it's just kind of
hey, you already know she likes dark things anyway, so hey, why not go for a brown thing?
Hey, and she got Roscoe. She got a doggone pig. We got a pig, and I'm like, I don't want no pig. We got a pig.
Man, But yeah, that's the biggest thing I'd say is like if you're profitable, as a hobbyist, then you always know that something, it makes it easier. If something happens with work or something like that, you've got, the snakes will be able to kind of pay to feed themselves. It's a very comfortable place to be in. So, and not every hobby you can do that. So like you said, like golf, I don't, unless you get really, really good at golf, I don't think you have much opportunity to like have your golf
with KG and pick his brain on that. He always on the golf course.
Yeah. Probably the way influencers and stuff are now, I bet a lot of people get their clubs paid for, memberships paid for and stuff, but that's a whole nother hustle, right? You gotta
big time
have to get really good at golf or really good as an influencer to where the course wants you to come out there to get them attention.
Yeah, the influencers. I've seen some of those guys. I'm like, wow, they're really doing it. It's crazy. Just going out there playing golf. And talking.
They're just good marketers, right? They're good advertisers. Essentially, that's what people. I used to be like, influencers, this is dumb, but the more I learned about it, I'm like, they're providing value to the whatever brand they're out there representing, right? They're getting people's eyeballs on it, people's attention on it. People pay how much money for advertising dollars? So if this influencer can do it better than some agency, then fine.
Absolutely. But then you also got to look at track records too, right?
Yep.
All of us, if you have a significant other, you have a track record with that significant other. So if she's or he is, used to you always, I'm into this day and that day, you're always picking things up and putting them down.
Yeah,
you're never going to get their support. So if you're never like following through on what you're saying you're going to do, and you got that long to-do list, that honey-do list they call it, man, you're never gonna kind of get out of that hole you kind of dug yourself. So
for sure,
that's a big thing. So with the competition being a year ago, even with you winning, what's one or two things that you maybe not necessarily lose sleep because you won, but that you would do over or invest more time in if you could?
In the contest? Man, I don't know. I really gave it a whole lot. So I don't know. I don't feel like I left much on the table.
He even had people that weren't even in the competition step in the competition. K&D, hey, the best. Yeah. I love that
they were fun too. They came out doing videos and stuff. They had to come bail you out there, Darren. But
I think they need 2026. They did. Hey, both of them did. Both of them did. We talked about it.
Yeah. Oh, Josh from Morphic. We talked about a lot of this stuff recently. I see him there in the comments. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
Josh is good people, man.
Yeah, he hit me up after a podcast like probably 2 weeks ago, and we kind of went through some of his pairings, and it just gave a little perspective. I mean, not that I'm necessarily right; he's going to go his own way, but it was cool. He already knew what to do. He just needed to hear somebody else say it.
A lot of the time, it's like that.
Yeah,
it's funny because that's why we do a lot of the YouTube video. If I got it actually down in the facility, I have a notebook of topics. It's not full, but it's getting halfway there. And a lot of it is so simple. We'll respond to people, but then we'll jot it down because it's like, hey, a lot of people don't understand, ball python keeping. A lot of people, there's so many more pet keeper and enthusiasts than there are actual breeders or even aspiring breeders. That is literally like offsets extremely. So it's like if we can share that information and let them know, hey, it's this easy to keep 1 to 5 snakes. This is what you would do to house them, feed them, breeding, how you can breed rodent. Do you know how simple it is to breed rodents if you have 10 or less snakes? Just trying to explain that, how much. I know it's time consuming when you're doing like large scale, but imagine the scale you have to breed, even Norwegians or ASFs or whatever to feed 10 snakes. So it's like sharing that information. I think we can get new eyes and new people in, and the more we can offer help and assistance, like you just said, you were just talking to them. That stuff is free of charge. A lot of people, until they see your face and see you communicating, you're just an Instagram page. They don't really see the person behind it. So even if they do have a question for you, they're not going to ask because they don't want to really be shunned. I see a lot of it.
I'm trying to put myself out there a little more to help some people more, and not because I like know everything. I'm not going to help you probably ID snakes is something I wind up testing so much stuff anyway, because sometimes I'm a little unsure. Like, so I just test to be sure.
Right.
But there is stuff that I do feel like I've got a good handle on. Like I said, I do feel like even for the short time that I've been in, I'm profitable, and I feel like I want to share that blessing with other people, because to be in that position, it does feel to me like a blessing. And I see a lot of people, like I said, people that I like, turning around and getting out and stuff, or struggling to stay afloat, or frustrated, complaining about the market and stuff. And I think I have like some other perspectives on it that I kind of want to, you know, share with people. So that's why I started putting it out there more, like, hey, message me on the calculator, I'll help. I think that it will help as well. Like, you know, if we can get people to be more attentive to being profitable about it and stuff, then we dump less snakes in the market on the way out. Right. So it helps the market overall. If people can be, that's why I wanted to put the calculator out there. People keep asking me, like, it's free, and I keep adding more stuff. The more I add, the more times. At first, people didn't have that many questions about it being free, because it's like, oh, it's a calculator. So more market already has this. But as I keep adding stuff, now people more and more are like, it's just free. It's free. I'm like, yeah, because I think if I can educate people a little bit on like all them it helps to see it sometimes. Like I said, the misses you're going to have in the pairing, and how much stuff that you might have that's going to be like, again, like kind of dead weight. It might steer people to be like, all right, you know what? I have to. Josh and I talked, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but like there's a couple of females he's putting up for sale. He's going to move from. These aren't the best for me for my collection where I'm at right now. Doesn't mean they're not of value to somebody, but I need to clear them out. So I guess my thought is, if I can help people with that stability, I think overall we'll all be better off.
Right? Yeah, we will.
Is it still going to be able to kind of change with the market too? So you can see the market value right now of like what it's going to be.
You have to. So the one thing you have to do yourself when you do it is, if you're talking about the calculator, you have to price them still like you were going to do, like you were going to sell. So you have to kind of make a judgment call on that piece. So, I mean, I can give, and that's why I tell people, message me, I can give some kind of tips. The way I look at it, I say, okay, these aren't going to be hatched for, it depends what you're looking at. If you're putting pairing hatchlings together in it, and you're saying this is something I'm going to do in 3 years, I'll say take a lot more out of it. But if they're like stuff that you have breed ready for this year, you still have to figure this 6 months to a year probably before I have these hatchlings up to size ready to be sold. So take probably a little bit out of the price, unless you think the project's really, and not many are, like on the way up. Like, you know what I mean? Take a little bit out of the price for that.
One thing to think about, let's do a kind of like a breakdown. If you can share your screen and kind of do it.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, for sure.
Because that's going to be big for these guys coming in, of like seeing how it's done.
Yeah. Let me pull it up. I'll pull up the most recent version that has that last feature I was talking about that's not even up yet. Okay. It should be this one. Yep, should be this one. All right.
Now, you know, do you think some of the people that you know that been in it for a little bit, that got out, did they lose the passion, or something really came in their life? You know,
I think there's a lot of reasons, right? And so I'm not going to save everybody. I don't intend to. But I think there's people who really genuinely still want to be here, but they got frustrated and are passionate about the animals, but got frustrated because they have a bunch of stuff. They go, oh, everybody told me the snakes sell themselves, which one was, I don't think everybody said, but I think some people said, and it wasn't fair. I think there was a unique situation in the market where they were selling themselves for a little bit there. Like I couldn't message people fast enough for a little while there on snakes. They'd be like, paying that. I'll be like, hey, how much does she weigh? And they'd be like, nah, somebody just paid. I'm like, what? That's crazy.
No, it's true. It was happening a lot because they happened to me.
That happened for a little bit, but I think people do wind up with a rack full of stuff that they didn't really all the way understand how many misses they were going to have, and it wasn't going to be that easy to get rid of them. And it, you know, it becomes a lot more like work then, right? You got to figure out, do I breed rodents or not? To your point earlier, Will, the rodents are quite a bit of work. I used to think, I'm going to go backwards for a second here before I even put the screen on the rodent thing, because you said something that made me think of something. And I'm not saying I'm right on this one either. I'm still figuring this one out as we speak, real time. But I used to think when I was smaller, oh, I'm not going to breed rodents till I get bigger. I don't need to. Then I got bigger, and breeding rodents when you're bigger is a ton of work.
Yeah.
And actually, it's much easier, to your point, when you're small. If you have like 10 snakes, one little ASF colony, 1.4, and you might be good.
Yeah.
Like you might be set. You know what I mean? You probably make more than enough, and you're not paying anything, and you might be able to slide your friends some rats here and there.
Yeah.
Like
I went through that same scenario where
Yeah.
I was already bigger and I was just buying them, and then prices changed. So then you started breeding your own, and then you had to really actually keep going. You're like, man, that's not enough.
So
I gotta
I
keep
talked
going.
to Josh
Chase,
on
that's
this.
a good point.
Chasing, I made a conscious, decision never to chase. And the caveat to that, I'm not going to say that other stuff that's being created isn't kind of intriguing. I will add stuff along the way to be parts of my puzzle to get to my end result. So that's what I mean by that. But I don't want to chase. I'm always trying to put together a plan on what I want to do with something or what Audra wants to do with something. She got her own plan for, sunset and, getting calico and things that's already there, but she's wanting to do it herself. And there's still revenue there in that project and making a, double recessive, multi-incomplete dominant combination there. So it still you have to question what you're doing, like you just said, and figure out what the results are going to be. But I do have a question for you, Charlie, because both of you guys actually are hand in hand where you're supervisors, at your jobs. Do you feel that makes it easier or harder for you to communicate with people in the reptile hobby? Because what I'm finding is conversation is very, very subjective. It's not really cut and dry. So how, us having some type of relationship, we can text back and forth and never have an issue. But you not having that relationship and you message back and forth, you can turn people off.
Yep.
So how you go about that?
I'll say the more this is straight out of something I would say more at work than in the reptile thing, but it definitely applies. The longer I manage people and the more time I spend managing people, the more I realize I have no clue what's actually going on in somebody's head. Like every way I think it's going to go is just like people really surprise you. I sat down. The best example I can give of that is that it was raise time one year, and I sat down with somebody and I thought I was giving him this killer raise and he was going to be so happy. And he just stared at me like really plain after I gave it to him. And I was like, hey, are you all right? Like, this is good. It was better than what like almost everybody else got.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize is he was a young guy. He hadn't been there very long. And he had an uncle who was there a long time, who was making a really good amount of money. So even though this guy got this crazy percentage and got a couple dollars jump, he was like, I know there's people in here that make like $8 more than me, and I do the same job as them. And I'm like, all right, now I could see why you would have that perspective, but I had to try to recalibrate and to be like, they're being paid for a lot of time, loyalty, knowledge. You might do the same thing with him 9 times out of 10, but if he runs into a weird situation, he's probably seen it. He's been here 25 years. Like he knows what to do and he doesn't have to come get me. So there's there's a lot behind that. Then I sat down with somebody else who I thought he had been there a long time, and he was like on the other end of it. He was like capped out in his bracket for what I could pay him. And I had to tell him he was getting like a pretty low raise. And he's like a guy who's like a good worker, been there a long time. And I'm like, hey, you're at the top of the bracket. And he was like, thank you so much. I just appreciate this company's been so great to me over the years. I was like, I don't know anything, man. I don't know how it relates to the reptile side for me is like, I try to remind myself every conversation, like, especially it's so hard when we get on Morph Market and you're doing it in these chats back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I can't hear inflection, tones.
Yes.
I have no idea what this is. So I'm like, well, no, this snake's going to make you a lot of money. Don't you understand? Like, blah, blah. And the guy's like, I don't care anything about that. I just think it's beautiful. And I'm like, I don't know anything. I'm just
well, hey, it is really different from working and kind of the reptiles, because you don't get to see them. You see people at work, so you can kind of get that feel. But people online, I talked to a guy online, sold him a snake, picking up more of the pastel. So everything he had pastel in it. And I'm like, do you really want to make super pastels? And he was like, yes. I was like, do you know where the market's kind of going with making a lot of super pastels? He was like, yeah, but I just want to make what I want to make. I was like,
and that's fine.
Yep. Okay. I'll leave you alone. I was Wow.
But like what Lace was saying, it's the same concept, right? You have people that follow brands, you know, and Lace is the ops right now, so it's funny. But we message back and forth, you know, and we find fun, you know, and banter in it, you know. But do you realize there's a group of people that can possibly read into this and say, you know what, this brand legitimately don't or dislikes this brand, and it's like, guys, this is fun. Like this ain't serious. You know, you liable to see somebody out of the bar and they, you know, they hit you up because you're like, hey, yeah, I'm hitting this for Lace. And I'm like, hold up now. Chill out.
Yeah, no, we're good.
But like, you know, that's funny. Gecko Diva killed me last year and like buried me. No, Femi killed pigs last year in the contest. I was running around trying to get out. And,
because literally that is the one way to kill somebody.
I messaged her like yesterday and was like, I really miss you guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when I messaged her, actually, I posted the post of me with the belt saying I'm just me walking around my neighborhood knowing I'm not mailing this belt out to anybody. And she posted some, went right back to talking trash like we were back a year ago. She was like, oh, this is the first time I even seen the belt out. I would have showed the belt to everybody. I was like, wow.
But then so that's a hard line too, right? So it's like, you grinded, you deserved it, you won. And it's like, to me, even being a part of it's like, once you're out and about with it, you're recording content with, maybe you go to a few shows and, you know, show it off. I'm like, man, that's badass. That's cool, man. He representing well, man. You know, I aspire to do something like that. But you realize there's another group of people that's like, oh, he thinks he's a shit. Like so it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I know. I
can't win, bro.
Good point. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
That did play in my head. No, I was walking around a show, and there's people. I mean, you know, I still walked around Atlanta with the belt anyway. But there's people there who might not like Chris, so then they might say, "Oh, this guy." He's like, you know, what I mean? It is. So what it is.
That's one of the parts that we're trying. You know, win or lose, that's what we're trying to do. We want to, you know, for the Florida, we always get jokes cracked on us all the time, even with the competitors saying, oh, they're so likable. We want to put our best foot forward, but at the same time, you know, shoot, there's things me and Darren talk all the time. There's things Darren does. I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with that. It's like, bro, you can disagree with stuff and not be arch enemies, right? You know, you can have a favorite gene or dislike something that we're working with, and we can still be cool. And we're like that in the Crested Gecko community too. We're friends with, you know, family with the top Crested Gecko in our books in like the world at this point when it comes to like high-end Crested Geckos, and we disagree. And we go on vacation together and everything. It's crazy.
I prefer my friend circle actually to disagree with me.
Yeah,
you know it's real.
I need to know. Like if I'm messing up, like I want somebody to tell me. Like, dude, you're really messing up right now. I don't want like people just let me go. Like I used to joke around
eating their popcorn, like watch them crash.
The club, right? The guy with the white pants on and the go, like, you know, just looking crazy. I'm like, dude, he has a friend who told him, yeah, that looks good. You should wear that. Like I used to say it to my friends. I'd be like, yo, he had, for everybody who's dressed like this, like the guy who's just a complete clown, there was somebody who went, yeah, that looks good. You should wear it.
Right.
Like, they didn't just tell him. Like,
they agree. Oh, man, that's fly. That's dope. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead with that. Like he's just laughing about it probably to the other friends too. Like, you see this guy? Like, I don't know. I'd rather, like, you know, especially in this, I got like friends who tell me like, don't do that, Perry. What are you thinking? Like, and I'm like, well, hold on, like, look at it this way, and we talk through it, figure it out.
Yeah.
But so I think also with that knowing, I think maybe not knowing, but acknowledging that you have some sort of a following, right? You know, we're at 5,000 subs here, and it's like, okay, we acknowledge. We're sitting back, like we feel like we should be double that, triple that. We putting in so much work, 2-3 videos a week and all that, but you're just not there yet. You're paying your dues. That being said, you still have to sit back and acknowledge that you do have people that look up to you, whether it's kids, whether it's adults, you know, that's in the hobby, and understand your responsibility to them as well, right? Because they're carrying your brand on to other people who may not even heard of you, you know, bringing you to your brand. So I think that's another key point to kind of follow up on as well. Where you plan on taking Reagan Renee long term, brand wise?
Yeah, so my thought, the more and more as I like, and we'll pull the calculator up in a second, we'll run through a pairing, but the more and more that I do like that, and the more now that I'm touching base with people on the side and going through their plans and stuff, the more I realize that I probably don't want to sell snakes anymore. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm still going to sell ball pythons, but I don't want to just sell like a snake. I'm more interested in the outcome people are looking for. Specifically for me, people like, and not that I have my whole circle around me, but I think I'm best suited to help people who want to get to a point where they want whether it's profitability or a certain to be at a certain point in a project, right? I feel like I've done that with like some of my DG Krypton stuff. I'm at a point, there's very few people. There are some people out there who are ahead of me. Don't let me sound like arrogant about it, like I'm the top of it, but there aren't a lot of people ahead of where I'm at in that project right now. And I did that in a short time with an opportunity. So I want to help people with that. So I'd actually I'm trying to find a way right now to incorporate the calculator into my listings, like, or at least draw attention to it in my listings, to be like, listen, like if you're looking at this animal, like, and you're unsure if it makes sense for your collection, just message me. Like if I have talked people out of buying that snake, I might find another one that fits, might be an upsell, might be a downsell. I actually just downsold somebody just this week on something. He messaged me on one snake, told me what he wanted to pair to it. I said, hey, I think that's a really good pairing. Here's all what you would get out of it. And since I was able, and I have another way I can do the calculator in like seconds, like a little faster than what's out on the website for free. But so I ran through it really quick, and like right there in the messages was like, here's like with the chances of what you get and what you want, it's really good odds. Like it was like it would have got like all visual Krypton, het DGs or something like that. I'm like, that's going to get you pretty far where you want to go. And he said, well, I was also thinking about this other one I had was more expensive, $250 more expensive, like a yellow belly G-stripe double het girl. And I was like, honestly, I'd love to sell you the more expensive snake, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get all triple hets out of this. You might get like, it's like 1 in 8 that you're going to get your visuals. So you're going to get one visual that you're going to keep. That's great. You'll get the animal you're looking for, but you're going to be sitting on triple het males that you're not like going to be very happy about trying to sell. Triple het DG stripe clown male, and that's one of my projects. They don't move for a lot right now. I got an adult male for like $300 up for sale, proven adult male. Like, so I'm like, it's just not the best thing for you. So I guess what I'm trying to say, as far as my brand, I'd rather sell somebody like an outcome, or like a relationship. Like, so, I'd rather somebody just message me on the animal. We talk about if it really works or not. If not, I've sold other people's snakes recently. I sent, Josh was talking about the conversation we had the other day. He bought something else from somebody else that if he didn't buy, I was buying, by the way. He told me, don't go buy it yet. Hold on, let me decide. And then he bought it. But like, I'd rather sell people on the outcome. I think that there's enough value that I'll be putting enough value out there in the market that it will come back to me tenfold, I guess, is my theory. And what remains to be seen. But
I think that's admirable because, and again, that's what we try to do as well. Again, always beefing with Darren, trying to get on to get his listings updated and kind of trying to kick him in the rear end to get it updated. But think about it. If you're really only out for self, right? Only out for flawless, why put out any relatively like decent content at all? Why try to tell your experience whether it's positive or not? Like, why influence or even make an attempt to bring people in if you're doing decent on sales? Because you're always thinking about, oh, this is the opposition and they can possibly do better. I feel like there's so many people in the world, and when you start looking at even amateur, if that's such a label here, amateur breeders up to full-time breeders, the offset is so significant that if you figure out your lane, and what I mean by lane, your projects that you want to excel in, there's plenty of room for everyone. And I think, honestly, my opinion, and I'm gonna pick your brain too, I think it's going to be even more decisive the further we get in. And the reason being is because of recessives. These quads and triples that we're going for, just like everyone else is going for, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to kind of get in the upper tier of those projects the further we get in. And the reason being is if you go to somebody right now and you want to find something in the hypo DG clown pod, the list is like non-existent. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, once you say, and think about it, we've said it before, once you have that DG hypo clown pod and you want to put blackhead in it, good luck.
Yeah.
3 years.
Oh shoot. I don't even think so. I think it's gonna be longer than that.
Yeah.
It's very slow to add stuff like that in. Yeah. Unless you have if you have
think about it, even if you
or
bred
something,
into a blackhead, you're gonna produce, half the clutch, whatever, blackhead, whatever. Even if you kept the whole clutch, everything is gonna be quad head. Now you're gonna be breeding it back, trying to hit, you got quad visual to a quad head that's now 2 years old. You could do that breeding for the next 4 or 5 years and never hit a blackhead quad.
Even if you're sitting on the visual female, you still have to have some really good odds, or you have to get it in there. Like I always look for overlaps, right? So if I wanted to add blackhead into something like that, you'd have to go out, but it's a spend, but you'd have to go out and get a blackhead, clownhead, hypo, or something like that. Right. So that you could at least get 2 of your 4 visuals back and be like that. But then you're still playing like 1 in 4 at best, and then 1 in 8 because the incomplete dominant with the blackhead. Right. So you're still 1 in 8 at best.
For it, yeah.
If you're sitting on a quad visual female,
even that project that's a little bit less. So you got the hypo clown pied, right? Mm-hmm. What have we seen in that? And those have been made a while ago.
Yeah, not a ton.
Yeah, I haven't seen any other combos in there.
Going,
but you haven't really seen, or I haven't really seen a ton of double visual combos. I mean, they're out there, but it's not a bunch of it in damn near anything. I mean, there's so many different variations that you can kind of put together, and that's why I feel like everyone's going to end up being streamlined. You're going to start kind of not really kicking the can down the road, but it's like, okay, and elaborate on this a little bit, Charlie. Have you found yourself this year saying, you know what, I'm done with that project. I'm cutting this project because this is my bread and butter. I'm going to buy more for this. I'm going to add this. I see everyone doing that. So it's like you're kind of, exactly going tunnel vision, full blown in your project. But like indirectly what you're doing, which is a great thing, you're also allowing those lanes you were kind of playing in, hanging around in, for other people to excel in those lanes as well. So I think it's going to be more decisive the further we move along.
I had to, short of having a facility the size of like Billy or Justin or somebody like that. I mean, you can't be in triple visual multiple projects. Like only a few. I mean, you can't be in all things. There's no way. And even some of those guys are in all things. But because it does take so many animals to put those odds in your favor and so much time to add for every incomplete dominant that you want to add back, the triple het version almost has to exist first. Like or at least, it has to be a time where you cross that line from it wasn't in all 3 recessives with it to it was, right? And when I'm like, whether you skip maybe the triple het and like I said, you have a hypo clown to a DG clown and you get clown double hets, but that's kind of like the best for the first time that a new gene comes in. It's the best you can really do. Like,
yeah.
So when you're trying to have your party, so you can't take it wide like that. But you did mention something too about like people worried about the opposition. For me, from the helping side of things, I can't help enough people with my time on this earth, probably, let alone my time in a week. I don't think I could help enough people to get that, to phase myself out. There's enough people that will fall by the wayside naturally because they don't get better and stronger. I mentioned on pricing earlier. An interesting thing I just learned this morning. It was, I kind of knew it, but it wasn't phrased to me ever this way. But pricing of a product. So it starts to match the efficiency of that market. And what I mean is you get better and better at what you do, and you bring your price down and down and down, right? And every time somebody comes down with a new product in that market, we can use this with snakes easily, right? When they go to price, like I said, when you go to price or snake, a lot of times people look and they say, okay, DG clowns. There's 10 DG clowns up there, and they're all around, we'll say 1,000. I think it's lower now, but let's say $1,000. I put mine at $950, so I get it moved. Some people won't. Some people will try to flex and go up, but some people go to $950. What'll happen is we'll keep going until that price gets down to where it's a complete, like, perfect break even with what it costs you to make that animal. Right. And then basically what happens is your bottom half, people who can't make it that cheap, fail and get out, right? Or get better. and then everybody else does it again until the bottom half scrapes out again. And this just happens over time if we consistently. So you consistently price down like that, that's what happens. You just keep scraping the people who are below average out, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the only way to not get into that trap is to find a way to add more value, I guess what I'm saying, than just the other 5 DG clowns that are out there, right? So that could be add another gene, right? Another het or something like that. So, or it could be, like I was saying earlier, like where I feel like I'm going to try to help people now. I can add more, like, yes, you can buy a DG clown for somebody else the same price or $50 cheaper, but I literally will like work with you to see if it really makes sense for your collection, right? I'll stick with you like through like adding, if it's a male, like through adding the other females, if that's what we got to do. Like I'm going to like, so I don't, again, it remains to be seen if that's going to be successful, or if I'm just going to burn myself out or not. But I feel like I can sell less snakes, hold my prices, and not have to keep competing to bring them down. Not everybody needs somebody to walk with them though. Some people just want to buy the snake and go. If you come in and you just want to make a cash offer, you want to offer me a little less than what's up there, we'll talk about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll make deals, but at the same time, if you look at my prices now, they're kind of like right there in the average. I'm not going to keep going into the price war anymore. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'll be upset about that in time, but I think what I was saying in the beginning, though, my point was to your point about, the competition. I can't help enough people to make it to where all of a sudden I've made everybody so much better than me. Like it's not not realistic. It's going to happen. So it's not something to be scared of, I guess what I'm saying.
Yep. No, I definitely agree. What's a rookie mistake, one rookie mistake, or what you would categorize as a rookie mistake that maybe you've done, kind of getting to the point of where you are now, or you've observed somebody else doing?
Yeah, I talked about a lot. Gambling. You mentioned earlier chasing. So gambling on stuff, saying, put this to this, and if I can get just one, like it'll help. You're probably not going to get the just one. You might get the just one. You might be really happy with it, but probably not. You know what I mean? And even like I said earlier, I'm doing that a little bit with the paint stuff, but I think it's a unique enough market where even the triple heads are still worth something. So without doing it a lot more measured, I guess. And then what other rookie mistakes, man? Chasing, like you said earlier. I mean, I can't say it enough. Being like, oh, that's really hot right now. And it's like, and I know better. Like I've done all kinds of business management outside of this industry, but it's like buying high and then turning around and selling it low.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so fundamental that you feel like you know it. But when you see the project take off, it's hard not to get hyped up about it and get in. And it's hard to tell where you're at on that. If it's on the curve, it's hard to tell. Am I down here where it's about to go, or am I right here where it's about to do this?
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to know. Like,
it's hard to tell with the ball pythons too, because of that next year. You don't know, by the time you get that animal up to size, you're like, okay, it's still doing good. By the time you get a clutch off of them, then it goes boop, it drops.
You're speculating.
But you also gotta keep going too. You know, I would prefer that people don't do that and alleviate them a lot of heartache and pain. But it happened to us as well. I think Audra did a video on it, but we bought a 1,000-gram clown pod female for $7,000 2 years ago, and she bred that year, which was our second season, and gave us nothing. So this past season was the first season where she produced for us, and even as a proven breeder, if there was a dollar amount on her, what's that, $1,100, something like that?
Yeah. Today,
so like, ultimately, thank goodness that type of money was kind of spent at least on a double visual, because we can ultimately bring that back as long as you, for better expression, you keep that animal alive, you take care of her, and the longer kind of you put her into important projects, you can get it back, whether it's revenue or hold back animals. But that's not something you, in my opinion, you should go in eyes wide open and make a conscious decision like, hey, I'm going to do this, and it's going to keep rising. Nope, it went right down to the damn basement for us. It's crazy.
That's going to happen, right? And we're speculating, and we're speculating a couple of years out. So there's going to be that. I guess my big thing right now that I've been trying to explain when I talk to people about that is if you continue to make good decisions, you continue to do it give yourself the best chances, You just have to win more often than, or your wins, not even more often than you fail, to be fair. Your wins just have to be bigger than the fails.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know what I mean? So you just got to keep setting yourself up that way to say like, okay, 3 of these. I mean, I always can. There's one thing that the calculator doesn't capture that I do in the background when I do it for myself. I only figure on like, because I'll do my whole season like this. I'll run like my whole season out, and I'll try to figure out like projected revenue and like also how many chances am I giving myself to make the animal I need a project? Because it's not just about the money all the time too. I need a piece strategically sometimes to do more, right? That's more of the breeding aspect that I'm not talking about as much. But you have to factor in. It's like I feel good about this number, especially talking with somebody else recently, but 80% chance that the female is going to go. So 8 out of 10 things that I pair actually go, right? Or 4 out of 5 actually even lay. And I think some people get maybe better. So a lot of people get less. So that's something to figure too. Like just because you drop $5,000 on this girl, like I look at that too. I'm looking at a $3,000 female this morning and I'm like, I can drop this. This is probably what I should make on her, but there's always that outside chance that I make nothing on her. And so it's something to be mindful of. It shouldn't scare you out of something necessarily, but to your point, if I have to wait 1 more year to make those animals I was going to make, am I still confident in what they're going to be worth?
Right.
Because some of the projects drop fast. And so you have to learn a little bit. You can't just like come in today. I give you like the spreadsheet that I use and you're going to be great. Like you do have to like look at the market. You have to see like, use your eyes too, right? Just does this project is it gonna hold value? Is this exciting? Do I think? And so I've been wrong on that. Talking about rookie moves, there's combos that came out that I was like, I don't think that's going anywhere. And then Spot Nose gets in it. It's usually Spot Nose, by the way. Spot Nose gets in the combo, and I'm like, this is insane. I'm like, this is crazy looking. I never thought this was gonna look that good. Like, you know what? So I don't know. You have to look a little bit at again, the chance that she might not go, and in 2 years, will you still be happy to do that clutch, or do you have to change direction? But you kind of constantly just have to reevaluate, right? And just see, like, does it still make sense the path I'm going?
So what keeps you, or how do you stay motivated, right? In what everyone calls a slow market, we're finding you being very innovative with the website and the calculators. Like, you know, what's igniting you or motivating you to even do those things? Because everyone else is complaining about, you know, maybe the negative sides of what's going on or what they're seeing, and you're still finding a way to kind of reinvent yourself.
Yeah. There's kind of 2 pieces of that. I'd say the biggest thing for me is I constantly have to humble myself and remind myself that 4,000, 5,000 followers across all my different platforms or whatever, so many people still have no idea who I am.
Right.
I'm not sure that it's that slow of a market. It is compared to a certain time in COVID or whatever, right? But I think that we have, when I say that, humble myself and I temper my expectations a little bit, that I'm going to have to get my name in front of people, get my animals in front of people in order to sell them. Every business out there every industry that's more mature than ours measures things like customer acquisition cost, right? What do I have to do to get somebody's eyeballs to my product? And then what effort do I have to take to get them closed on actually buying the product? We expect we're going to throw 2 snakes together, put them on a website on the internet, and somebody's just going to magically find me, realize that the snake fits into their collection right well, and then just come at me with cash ready to go. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the people that are complaining are frustrated with that process. I had to tell them, and I got frustrated with this process. A year ago, I was there. I was like, man, these really aren't selling like I thought they were. Right. I started looking at like, you know, how do I sell more, stuff like that. And some of the people that really resonated with me were like, you know, you're like, don't be arrogant. Like, realize nobody knows who you are, and get your name out there and get in front of people and show them what you have, or they're not going to buy from you. Why would they?
That's the biggest thing. You know, you see a lot of people that's trying, you know, and trying, I guess, again, is relative to the person. But when you're over, you know, maybe you're a hobbyist, maybe you're an enthusiast, or maybe you're just really getting off with your business, you know, like you said, you know, they're not going to sell themselves. You got to figure out an avenue of marketing, of advertising, trying to figure out what you want to do, how you want to apply yourself and your brand, you know, how you want it to resonate throughout the hobby. And again, just because you feel or you want it to be marketed and advertised, that it's not going to happen like that. It's going to take time. You got to pay your dues. You're going to have to literally push. We did it, you know, we still do it with Flawless Crested Geckos. The first 5 Crested Gecko, you know, availability release that we did when we got started, there were crickets. Nobody went to our website. Nobody knew who we were. You know, you have to build it, and literally it feels like you're running in quicksand, you know, trying to get, you know, into these homes and get your brand out there amongst everyone else. You know, a lot of people feel you have to do collabs. You can do them, but again, you have to really stand up on your own 2 feet. I don't think there's any brands out there, period, that literally is going to just kind of lift you up to their level. We can go up with Canova and do a video, you know, with Justin. That's not going to make us, you know, level or equal or his equal, you know, in business. You have to figure out your own way, or what are you going to do, your twist. And I think it's going to be a lot of people that's going to disagree with you. But if you have a well thought out plan, I don't think there's anything wrong with like trying something different to see, you know, if it will stick, like you're doing.
You have to try something different anyway, because if you do the same thing as everybody else, why are you going to get a different result? Like,
right.
You're not going to get the same.
But in this lane, the first thing that anyone would do is that, and then it's like, all right, well, it didn't happen like yesterday for us, so I got these snakes for sale. I can't, you know, afford to feed them. All right, the price for them is $200. All right, $100. Come get the whole thing. And that's what happens, you know. And I feel there's a very few amount of people that's doing that. I think the staples kind of stick it out, and they feel it because there's so many individuals doing it. But after you sell what you have, you're done and gone.
You know, with having this calculator, I think it's going to bring a lot of people that are average to your website. Right?
Absolutely.
So you're gonna have sales just from that. You know, I was telling Will, this is only in the gecko world, is if we did a lineage calculator, you know, where everybody has a platform to put up their lineage for their geckos, and people will, if you had that website, they would come to it, because now I could put my pairings, my animals, pictures of my animals going on, just like a pedigree, the same thing coming to my website, you know. But it's somebody have to do that. But by doing that lineage kind of thing, people are going to come to their website and say, hey, you know what, man, let me put this in. And they're going to go over and look at what you have for sale. And that's going to make sales just from that.
But it's like you just said, Charlie, with the DG Clown paints, you know, you start producing them. You have your whole back animals. You're getting other genes in the mix. Like, if you find yourself in uncharted territory where there's not, or very few that's been hit, if 5 years from now you have them and you're producing them, you have them for sale, you know, now you have a whole new animal, because now you're trying to figure out what's your market, not the market. You are the market, essentially. And now you're trying to set a threshold. You know, we found ourselves in that area a couple times with the Crested Geckos, but you'll end up now creating them, selling them, you're doing well. But now you're going to, as the years progress, other people are now making them. Now, what are they doing? Hey, you know, no brand, no name, but you know what? We're 50% cheaper, 40% cheaper than Charlie, and they're selling theirs quickly. The difference is you're able to be found and they aren't, you know, because they're not marketing themselves.
That's the other big thing, like I was saying earlier, about kind of pricing and value, that why I'm going to try not to chop it up as much with people who keep bringing, like, dropping prices and stuff. I mean, I get it. They're trying to move animals out, and I've done it too, but I'm going to be here is the other thing I'm going to tell people. Like, I'm profitable. It's built to last. So, like, if you need help next year, like, I'm doing a lot of stuff right now where I'm not necessarily dropping list price out on Morph Market, but you buy a female from me right now, I'm sending cards in the box with them for 50% off a male next year. You're obviously in the project. Come back next year. We'll get you. You know I'm here. You know the animal's healthy. You know I can answer questions. You know that it eats. You're gonna hit me next year. And it's just, again, because it's that continued relationship and the loyalty. It's a win-win. I've got a better chance of getting more revenue next year You know what I mean? And so I'm thankful for that. That's why I can give you 50% because it's not guaranteed.
Buy with confidence.
But it's confidence. And then also I know what I'm getting with the person too. If they were a good customer, I appreciate that. Like if they paid promptly, you know what I mean? They didn't like come back and try to like tell me something was wrong with it when they got it when it wasn't. Like, you know what I mean? I know for sure it wasn't. Like I would rather work with you again. So it's smooth. I don't have to. Some of those people who I've already dealt with, when they come back this year, they get stuff off me that hasn't hit morph market yet. You've saved me the time of taking a picture, listing it, all that stuff. So I can definitely give it to you at less because you made my transaction much more seamless. So I don't know.
How do you deal with that's a good outcome or a great outcome, but how do you deal with customer expectations being higher than maybe what they should be? You didn't answer a message in 5 minutes. Stuff like that. Like, how do you deal with that?
One thing I've learned, and I don't always keep up with it. I can think of one scenario recently where I was like, oh man, I found myself a little behind the 8 ball and this should be more clear with this person. But I try to be very clear with expectations up front. So if somebody buys something from me right now, I mean, I got 4, 5, 6 inches of snow on the ground right now. It's probably not going out this week. So when they hit me up, I'm telling you right away, hey, I usually try to ship as fast as I can. I'm usually like, if you hit me on a Saturday, I'm sending out Tuesday. It's going. I know people want what they paid for and they want it now. But if I can't do that for some reason, like the weather, I'm telling you, hey, I don't know how long it's going to be right now. I'll take your money. I'll feed this thing and keep it fat like it's my own. Don't get me wrong, but I want you to know, I calibrate them on the expectation. So there's no like, as long as people aren't surprised, they're generally okay, is what I'm trying to say. If I could simplify it, right? I try to stay ahead of it. You can't always, like I said earlier, you never know what somebody's thinking. You can't always predict it. I've had a chargeback before. I had a chargeback like 5 months later. The guy went to their bank and was like, I didn't even think you could get money back on, what was it, Cash App or Venmo. They went to their bank and called it fraudulent and took the money back. And I had like piles of receipts. So
I think it depends on how they supply the funds to those accounts. Like if you do it on a debit card or something. And, we've had one chargeback on PayPal, we did a video. If you want to figure it out, we take PayPal. We hate PayPal. And I'll just leave it at that. It depends on how you're supplying the funds to those accounts that can kind of really end up getting you really, really screwed over.
Yeah. So my best advice though is like, you can't predict for everything, but so as proactive as you can be upfront, communicate it early and often, right? And just try to like make sure they understand exactly what they're getting. And you'll probably get through most of the potential issues that are going to come up, right? Okay. If it's like I've had something that was a ASF eater that I've listed before, I was telling people when they messaged me, hey, did you notice that it's ASF eater? Instead of playing the game of being like, oh, they should have checked. I could do that, I guess. It's going to be my headache later. It's going to be my headache when they want to leave a review or they want to talk to their friends about me. So I'm just going to be like, this is what it is. Like, I'm just going to tell you. So it's just, it'll save you some later. And then the other thing is like, at the end of the day, sometimes, I mean, nobody wants to be taken advantage of. There'd be a point where I have to draw the line too, but sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. If somebody comes back and they're saying like X, Y, and Z is wrong with it, look, there was one person, this was one time, I'm not encouraging everybody who buys something from me to hit me with something after the fact. I won't tell you what he said, but somebody had an issue with something with it. And I said, will you be happier if I take like, I'll give you $200 back off of it? I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. If I realized that, then maybe I would have discounted the animal. Why don't I give you, it was like 20%. I'm gonna give you like $200. Oh yeah, I'm great. 5-star review. Okay. Yeah. I'd rather the 5-star review. It's worth more to me, infinitely more in sales later.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
let anybody having a bad review.
Yeah. You can't let people play you, but yeah, you're right.
You don't want to make it somebody's whole life to try to destroy you either, because some people got nothing but time.
Oh yeah. Man. I had a guy give me a bad review just because his FedEx, he didn't get notification from his FedEx that the FedEx, yes, he gave me a bad review because of he didn't get the notification that it was dropped off. Even though I told him, hey, you got the tracking number, right? Yes, okay. But because it didn't get a notified step by step from FedEx, it was my fault. And I'm like, dude, you got to set it up. Like, what are you talking about? I can't set that up for you.
Yeah. That's
That's it.
Let me ask you, Charlie. I heard you mention, shipping on Tuesday. I know why we do it, but what's your explanation on why you prefer to ship out on a Tuesday or Wednesday?
Oh, a big part of it is because that's what the shipping companies have told me to do since the day I got in, right? So I just kind of followed like their expertise and listened to it. But I do think that a couple of people I talk to are in that industry. They like guys who actually deliver packages and like that. I do think there's more of a flood on Mondays. There's more traffic, more chance of an issue, right? And that's what the shipping companies will say. But
so that's exactly why we do that as well. We will ship if it's necessary for like an escort or something like that, or maybe your schedule is that's what it is. We will ship out on a Monday or whatever for that. But typically we're the same exact way. If you're going to get an issue, your FedEx, especially the hubs, are going to be overflowed from the weekend of those packages coming in and having to be handled on that Monday to Tuesday. Yeah. So might as well just go on that Tuesday and handle it.
I try to work with people though. I usually try to go to a hub most of the time, but sometimes you get somebody who's like, I'm in a rural area, or I had somebody who was handicapped before was like, hey, I really need it delivered to the house. So I work with people then, but it's about calibrating them on the expectations. Hey, I need you to be at the door then when they drop this thing off.
Oh yeah,
not where you're at. Like, so again, as long as everybody's up front about it and everybody understands the kind of rules of engagement.
So it's I get it. Everyone has their own thing. So our thing, our pet peeves, we understand people work jobs and everything. We've had people order animals, tell us that they're going to be there first day in the morning. We track our animals throughout the day, throughout the night, and we look and it's like 5 p.m. their time, and it's like still sitting there at the hub. I'm like, guys, come on, And then they said, oh, well, we wanted it shipped to the home. So my thought process, because we've had this happen and we only receive at our hub because of these reasons. You're trying, through this process that we're all allotted on shipping these reptiles, through all these permissions we have to go through, or authorizations. We want to make sure that for the animal's welfare, that it basically runs into the least amount of possible issues as possible, which means, hey, it goes through the hub, Indy or Memphis, unless it's local, and then it finally reaches your local hub. They are typically going to keep that reptile in a temperature controlled environment once it's there. So yes, you're more likely to be able to safely go and pick it up. When you get it delivered from there, and now on your delivery truck, unless your delivery driver, you're asking for trouble. You don't know if that guy or girl had an argument with his girlfriend or wife, or he's gonna go on a lunch break early, leave your animal in the vehicle. You don't know if the vehicle's gonna be in a wreck or breaks down, and now another FedEx truck has to come and pick up that pack. There's just so many variables that can possibly happen that we always ask for hub pickups.
All right. Let me run through this. I think I figured out how to share the screen. Run through a scenario on this thing.
And then Dustin's asking, are you working hypo puzzle projects or any sunset? We aren't.
I'm not.
Okay.
I sold all my puzzle stuff. All right.
Oh, wow.
Green all duplicated.
He's out. He's straight Krypton cryptic.
I jumped out. Yep. Went all Krypton cryptic. All right.
Yep. Justin's Will's favorite gene.
Let me solo it.
How's it looking? Is it you can see the calculator?
Oh no, it looks great.
All right, cool.
It looks perfect.
All right. I'll do the one that I was talking about this morning. I'm afraid of how many outcomes, so I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to say I'm just going to go stranger, clown. I might even drop the stranger if there's too many outcomes. Het monsoon. So I'm going to go right through plugging in a pairing, right? Female I was looking at maybe selling was a pastel. I'm going to leave the pastel out, not because I'm a pastel hater, but because I don't want too many outcomes. And that's the biggest tip I can give people is a hypo het clown girl, right? Biggest tip I can give you is simplify it, because otherwise you're going to have a ton of outcomes here and you're going to have a lot of issues. All right. So then, like you see, as you're hitting them in, your results are popping up right on the screen right in front of you, right? And we have all these clown head hypos, 50% monsoons, and double het clown hypos, because it's a clown to a hypo, 50% het monsoons, right? Now, this is what I was saying about testing. You could say, I want to test anything that comes out that's a clown, especially a stranger clown. I'm definitely going to test to see if it has monsoon. And you see these exploding from 1 and 4 to 1 and 8 now. You got your one that's het and one that's not, right? Same thing here. This, let me see. This is a stranger double het clown hypo het monsoon. You know what? I'm probably still going to test for it. I'll just do it as if I test for all of them. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to slow down one more time. If I click right on that 50% het monsoon chip, see it's 1 and 4 over here, right? We're going to get it to go to 1 and 8, 1 and 8. One has the het monsoon and one doesn't, just like you tested it.
Will clear out the bottom of the screen? I want to see.
And then this last one. So I got these normal looking animals. Do I want to test them? You know, I probably wouldn't test the males from that. Maybe I would. Triple het hypo monsoon clown male. I have another calculator. If you go on the website and you go to, should I test this? Should I test this or should I shed test? The link will say, you can find the one that calculates if the value of testing it's worth it or not. But for simple purposes here, I'm going to just say we test those two. So see how I click that het monsoon and boom, went from 1 and 4 to 2 1 and 8s. So these old rows that are grayed out is what they were when they were 50%. And all your new outcomes are under it, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So now we've got 8 different possibilities, 1 and 8s. I'm going to back up a step here and plug in. This is what I was talking about earlier. This male, I have him listed for $6,000 right now, although I'm going to wind up taking him down. I'm not going to sell him. I figured it out this morning. And he's going to 3 females right now. This would be the 4th, actually. So let me he's going to 4 females. So the girl, a hypo het clown girl, might be worth what, 300 right now on the market? Even a breeder? Mm-hmm. Let me double check it.
I was already.
That was brave. I just had my Google history in front of the whole internet.
I totally missed it, but
you know I got nothing to hide now. I'm not gonna do that. That's crazy.
Red tube. What's red tube?
Clown? Nah, you didn't see. Go back and pause it. You didn't see that in there. That's what the private tab is for. That's the incognitos for. Don't. Hypo het clown adult female, right? Let's see. Lowest price. Oof, 200. Oh, that's a triple het too. Oof. 300. So $300. Okay, we'll go back. We'll call it good enough.
Yeah.
All right. Now we went through and I said I tested all these, right? So again, like I was saying, what's that cost me? Well, let's say we get 6 eggs out of this pairing, and let's say it cost me $40 a test, like normally. So it's going to cost me $240 to test this clutch right here. Mm-hmm. Right. So now we know out of the gate, if I drop down to ROI, it's saying I'm, because I haven't plugged in any values for the combos yet, right? So out of the gate, it's saying I'm going to lose money. Negative ROI. It'd be more valuable to just sell the breeders and do the pairing because I'm making $0, right? And I'm spending $240 on shed testing. So that's going to go away. That'll clean up. What the heck is a stranger clown double het monsoon hypo worth? Male or female? I don't even think we're going to find one.
I don't think so either.
Het monsoon, het hypo.
Yeah, I'm thinking there aren't any available.
Yeah, nothing. Nope. Availability.
Any.
Never.
Yeah, no.
All right, so that's a good spot to be in. What do you want to call that? I don't know. What do you think? A stranger clown double het? 5, 10? I don't know. Right? This is what you were saying earlier. So this might not be the best example because who knows? We'll call it 5. We'll call it female. Oof, clown. What's a clown het monsoon worth right now? Let's try that. Hypo.
Oh, that'll come up. That'll definitely come up.
Female?
Yeah, they're 35 4.
Even a male is 4. Females, 5. All right, so that gives us somewhere to jump from. So this is probably more than. So 5 for the male. Maybe the female's 10. Stranger clown head hypo.
Oh, you up 200%.
Oh, yeah, now it's making money already, right?
Yeah. So do you have enough room if you start getting high traffic where it won't crash?
Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay.
Should be fine for if it crashes, I'll figure out how to get more. I'll let somebody put some ads on there and I'll get more bandwidth. That'll be a good problem to have. Stranger Mojave clown head hypo as a grand. Female stranger clown head hypo a grand. All right. So we'll call them maybe a little less. Maybe I should put by the time, because there's a couple out there. Maybe by next year, by the time I made them, 750 and 1,000. I don't know.
Yeah.
Clown double het monsoon hypo. That ain't that much less than those, right? We're gonna say 4. Maybe this is more. I don't know. We'll go 4 and 8. These are guesses on this one, unfortunately, because I picked a pairing that's kind of whacked out. So most pairings, I think people are going to do. You might be able to actually try to price it, but all right. Clown head hypo. What's that worth today? 50 for a male.
Oh yeah,
yeah. If that, you might get 100 for a female, maybe
50 and 100. We'll plug them in. We'll see. Stranger, triple het. I don't know. Are there triple het monsoon clown hypos?
That's probably up there. That's gonna be. I don't even think you're gonna find one.
We did clown double het earlier. What about triple hets? Oh, there's a couple out here.
Oh,
male
10,000.
Female 9. Oh, this changes prices. Hold on. If females are here's 3.
That's kind of all over the place. I kind of look at the breeder too. Who posted that?
Yeah, I don't. Tall grass has been around a minute.
Oh yeah, no, he's been around for a while.
No offense if Hella Balls ever sees this, but I don't really know who that is. So maybe when he listed these, the tall grass ones weren't up yet, and he was like, "I can name my price." I mean, that's what I give
pretty much.
Benefit of the doubt and say that. So you got 400 for a male here, 3Gs, 25. Maybe by next year, right? 2,500 for a female. We'll use that. So we'll say, this is Stranger though.
That was just no Stranger, huh?
Yeah. So this is Stranger though. So that's more than 3. I'm gonna put 4. Yeah, I'm just 4. Again, we're taking a shot in the dark here, and maybe the male's worth 5 then, maybe more. The male might be worth. It might be like a $750, $1,000 male. I bet. Again, this is a little bit of guesswork, but it'll give you a rough idea, right? And on some of them, not every pairing you're gonna run in here, you're gonna have to do this much guesswork because some of the combos are usually gonna exist, right?
Right.
So I picked kind of probably could have just left Stranger out to make it more simple. Stranger double het, that probably exists, right? Head hypo, het clown. That probably exists.
Yeah, it does.
Put them out there. Oh, yeah, there we go. Let's clean it up. Stranger, 700, 650.
Stranger. Oh, what desert goes.
Stranger, Mojave, het clown, het hypo. Oh, but this is only 66%. Hold on, that's hot.
They're not even 100%.
Clown.
Het pied.
Het hypo, het clown, 50% het pied. That's a female for 1,000. What do we think? Throw a number at me. Stranger double het. That's for auction. I don't know what that tells me. This is already at 321.
I would say about like 1,000 to 1,500 because there's one that's in there that's a Stranger, possible inchy hypo clown right there.
Right there.
American made exotics. They're pretty good. I'd go with that.
All right. So we're going to go there for the female. And then what do we think? The males are probably like a $400 snake.
Yeah, I would say 5.
5.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll go 5 and 15. All right, we're almost done. Triple het monsoon hypo clowns. We did that earlier with Stranger. Do it without the Stranger. Let's just bump it down a little. It gets a little easier as you get farther because you just go, okay. We saw those. They were at like 2750, right?
Yeah.
And then double hit. Oh, this is a 50 and a 50. Maybe a 30 and a 50 piece, right? All right.
Yeah.
All right. So what does it say? Expected value per egg. So based on this right here, right, it's going to take the two of these and average them. You're 5,000, you're 10,000. So that's 7,500 for this combo. And then it's a 1 and 8. So it's going to multiply it by, 0.125.
Right.
It's going to do that at each line and add it up. And that's how it gets the, I'm telling you like what's going on behind the scenes, right? It's how it gets the expected value per egg. So your average baby is each line times this probability added together, right? So your average baby's worth about $2,400. Some are going to be $40. Some might be $10,000, right? And this actually we said was probably underestimated, right? When we saw that there were like $10,000 hets out there. But all right. Next thing, expected clutch value. It's multiplying this right here times your 6 eggs that we plugged in. If you know the girl usually lays 8 for you, right? Your clutch value went up to 19,495. We'll go back to 6. This girl hasn't laid for me yet, so I don't know what she'll lay. So 14,000. Okay. Net after testing. So 14,600. It's got to take that $240 out for shed testing. Right. So this is what most likely you're going to make right around here. What this is telling us here, there's a whole lot of other outcomes, right? You could get some really good odds, some really bad odds. This is 90. So if you were to draw a curve, which I'm actually going to show here in a minute, of all the possibilities of your pairings, right? This is what 95% of the space under that would fall in. So you got a 95% chance of being from $1,800 to 27,000. That's where 95% of the time, if you ran this pairing like 10 years in a row, 95% of the time you're going to be between here for your whole clutch. Yeah. That's what that number is telling you. Right? So,
which is good.
Yep. $14,000, right? Over a fourth of this 6,000 for the male and the 300, right? So if I said he's going to 6 females, would make it easier. $1,000, 300. So $1,300, right, is what I'm tying up in this pairing in animals that I could sell or do something else with. So that's saying you're making basically 10 times your money back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because we said, oh yeah, about $1,300 and it makes about 14. That makes sense. About 10 times your money back. This last feature, let's see if this is going to work. This is what I just built this morning. No, I did it in the wrong calculator, huh? All right. Let me see something. I'll do smaller pairing. What did I do? I opened the wrong one.
Reps. I said prices are generous. I think they were pretty accurate.
They can be. And so what you do too, though, is so I always say like, okay, if the prices are generous, then, let me figure maybe I only get 80% of this. Right. I usually use 80% anyway. If I'm going to go write this down on a spreadsheet for myself, I'm going to use like 80% anyway, because there's only an 80% chance I'm going to get this female to even lay.
Right.
Right. So whatever 80% of the 14 is, somewhere 10, 12. But I can sell this female for $300, or I can throw this male's got bandwidth, right? He's only, like I said earlier, he's only going to like 3 other girls, or I can throw him to her and should pull. Maybe I'll get a stranger clown double het, which is a really nice animal for my project, and the rest is all probably gravy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know why. I thought I opened the right file. I'm gonna have to work on a bug on this. Let me see. This should be the one. Can I see 6:47 a.m., 6:57 a.m., 8:06? That's the problem.
Oh, you pulled up the wrong one. I
pulled up the oldest one. Yeah, I'm gonna do a much shorter pairing. We're gonna do clown, hit, monsoon. I'm gonna do a pairing that I've messed with a bunch. VPI, so I can go really fast here. Sorry about this. VPI, clown. 6 grand. 4 females. She's for sale for 3 grand. Don't go buy her. I'm buying her later today. If you do, you do. It is what it is. All right. These are like legitimately like 10 and 10 right now. And then this is like a $100 animal and then maybe like a $250 animal. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, there we go. All right. What this is doing is this is every possibility that you could get. And it's weighted by its probability. That's what makes a bar taller, right? So this is the chance. This lowest one down here is the chance that you get 6 males worth $100 each. This one up here is the chance that you get 6. It could be male or female in this case because I had them both at 10. Let's say the females were worth more, 12,000, right? Let's see if I can get it to calculate twice. Yeah, there we go. This is the chance that you get 6 females at $12,000 a piece for your $72,000. You see how they're really small height because they're really not very likely to happen. And then these ones here in the middle are the most likely. So this is what I was saying earlier about if you drew a line over the top of this, that'd be they call it like a Gaussian distribution or like a bell curve.
Yeah, the bell curve.
Right? That's your bell curve. So what I was saying about 95% is probably somewhere from about where this line is to about where this line is where you're going to land, somewhere in here. So somewhere from 7,000, actually it tells us, right? So as I'm looking at this, I'm going to have it put more prices across the bottom here on this bottom axis, right? But it's saying, so 7 is probably like right about here to 60 is probably right here. So most of your stuff is going to fall in this range. Right. This is telling me is the probability that I make money, right? So the odds that I get a pairing where I actually lose money is less than 2%. There's only like 2 combinations that can happen. It's basically I get all $100 males or all $250 females, 6 and 6, where I don't get anything that tests for monsoon, right? Nothing that tests positive for monsoon, not one in the clutch. There's only 2 outcomes, and they're 1 in 8 odds each, or whatever it is, or right, not even 1 in 8. It's 1 in. It's 50% to the 6th power because of 6 different. You'd have to miss a coin toss 6 times, basically, right? In a row without getting 1. So the odds that I actually lose money on this pairing is this. This is why I built this, right? Because this gives you, if you had, say, I did it the other way, I did like a quad het to quad het, the average clutch might look really high because I might have one $50,000 snake in there. But the break-even line's probably like out here. Mm-hmm. Right? And I probably have a lot of chances that I'm going to do something that's not going to be worth that pairing, right? Where like I should put something else to that female or something else to that male.
Right.
So this one, probably in the next day or two, I'll probably have this up where you can hit this show risk curve feature. Huh. This is, like I said, so this is where it's more in the calculator, right? Is that ability to test, and you can untest them if you decide, oh, I didn't want to do that. You just click it again, it'll go back. It's going to undo all the stuff I did down here if I do it. I guess it doesn't matter, right? But it'll pull that back.
So did you ever think about working for Morph Market and then take over the Morph calculator for them?
I mean, Morph Market, shoot me something in my DMs. I'm open.
They're like, we're going to take all your troubles away. Then you could kind of pull up where, because our Morph calculator pulls up everything from, whatever pairings that have been made and everything else. And then
that'd be the huge benefit is when you do their calculator, you can hit those links for the ones that have been made, right? So you can see the prices right there. That's how I used to do it when I did in Excel myself. What I might do is I might have mine generate the links for you. And so you can still click and go over there. But
go through it.
It's taking me some work. I have to figure out how their links are built because it's like when you add Desert Ghost, there's like a DG/23445 in the link at the top. I had to figure that out and program that in for every gene so it could find every combination. So that's
you know what? You might have your spot in Morph Market right here. You might quit your 9 to 5 and then you can just do all this stuff in Morph Market. He's like, I'm gonna help everybody.
Darren, let me know.
So last question I got for you. Hopefully to share your insight. We have our own kind of system that we go about doing things. I know you're about to make a purchase soon. How do you kind of justify some of your larger purchase? Males are typically easier, but let's say a female that's costing you $3,000+ you buy her, whether baby or breeder or whatever, for a reason, keep her 3-4 years, and now that same female may be putting her on the market for $400 or $500, to sell her because you've already did what you needed to do. Like, how do you justify that process so other people can understand?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of it points to like what we just looked at, right? So that made it a lot harder for me to sell that girl. But like when we talked about the pastel hypo het clown girl.
Yeah.
But we went through a little bit earlier, like I go look, do I have the capital available to buy? I go look and see, is something nicer available or like farther along in the project available? Do I have the capital available? And or is it better invested somewhere else? It doesn't make sense. So does that percent return go up, right? Because I might get, and I'm both ways about this. I might get more revenue altogether, even if the percent return is lower, and I might still do it. But it helps overall if I try to keep consistently trying to push the percent return up on every decision I make. I know that I'll keep moving towards, better decisions long-term. Sometimes you run out of room though, in like a project or with what I have necessarily here in the rack. And so sometimes more is still more. Like even if it's like, this is only a 5 times return, I typically get 7, but I don't have any other options in front of me right now. So I'll take the 5. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
right. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Is that more is still more.
Still more.
Man, oh man. Well, we appreciate having you on, bro. We had you up here almost 2 hours explaining the site and everything. Tell everybody where they can find you at, even though they know you're still the reigning champion of 15 minutes of lane.
Reagan Renee Royal Pythons on Instagram is the easiest place to find me. DM me, follow me, whatever there. YouTube, I might start updating more stuff like the demo we just went through. I might start putting out, like, as I do my own pairings and make my own decisions, I might just record them and put them up.
Please
so that's another place to check me out. And then otherwise, ReaganRenee.com.
Awesome.
ReaganRenee.com.
I honestly feel like this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people, because now, not just kind of looking on Morph Market, but now you can see the numbers in front of you, and that can help you make your decisions.
Right. Especially with shed costs involved in it. You know, I think that's going to make it more tangible, more real.
It's a big game changer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate everybody in the chat that's been hanging around, listening to us, watching us. We'll be back on again in another 2 weeks. Wait, it's 2 weeks Christmas weekend? I think 2 weeks is Christmas weekend. So we'll be back to you, I guess, Christmas weekend with another one of the episodes of You've Got Some Balls. In the meantime, between time, you're going to want to go over to the Fat Man Nation every 24 hours and vote for Flawless. Please. Utilize your assistance so that Charlie can send that belt on home over here to the Flawless compound. So I don't know. It's just really, really fun, guys. We're having a blast. Slide into the DMs if you have questions on anything we've said, Charlie said. Could make that connection with Charlie. He has some awesome projects. Actually, we bought from Charlie as well. We have a mail from him as well. So definitely build up that network so you know that you can trust the people you're working with, working alongside with in the community. So again, guys, I appreciate both of you guys for dedicating this Sunday. We've been up here for a while, and we out. Later.
What are you calling